Welcome to the Catch Now podcast. Um,
Woo!
with our spangly new graphics and intro. I mean, I kind of used it before, but this is the first time we're actually recording with it. So that's good. Though some of you, if you're astute and actually watching on YouTube and not listening to audio, you may have already noticed that our intro graphic was not quite correct because we do not have a Zoe on this podcast. We have an Emily.
Hello.
The legendary, the one and only legendary Emily Busby, who's agreed to join us for today, to help cover. So we've got three people, and actually providing an episode, given we were not able to give one in the acres of time we had before the National League meet. We completely failed on that one. We did try, but for various reasons, it was completely
Yeah, it
utter
wasn't through
shambles.
lack of effort.
Yeah, we did try. Like we put, I'm pretty sure we had at least 6 different dates in the diary, all of which fell
Probably
through.
more, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
There was one
definitely.
week where we had like 4 dates booked out and it just never worked out.
Yeah, it was a rough time. But the one and only Emily Busby's here. Do you want to give a quick intro? How long have you been playing dodgeball for? Who do you play dodgeball for? All that jazz. Go ahead.
Yeah, so as I was literally discussing last night, I've been playing dodgeball for 14 years now,
Oh my god.
which is a very long time.
That's half
I
my
currently
life.
play for Nottinghamshire. Yeah, yeah. There's like there's actually people playing that are the age of my career length, which is depressing.
Nah, nah, don't, Jesus, that's the day I'm retired, to be honest. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. Thanks to the base academy, it's creeping up closer than I wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I currently play for Nottingham Sheriffs. I've played for Bees, Muds, Balls of Steel in the past, as well as England and GB. So I've knocked around a bit.
Yeah, been around the park. Um,
Do you want to hear my awful take of the day? Right?
Go on.
That this the
Plenty more to
England
come.
flag is like. Do you know like those reverse beanies where it's like two different colors if you like fold it in and out? That's the England flag and the Swiss flag, and then Emily and Zoe.
For our audio listeners,
Uh.
Colm's referring to on our graphic we have our names and the nation that we represent slash are aligned to. I've obviously never played international before because I'm crap at dodgeball. So I have the GB
So
flag.
I still done it.
Colm has played for Ireland once upon a time, and Emily has recently stopped playing for England. So yeah, there was an England flag in the place. There was a Swiss flag last season, but anyway, so that is what we're doing to start this off. We have Emily joining us, so we do have some Super League, Women's Super League talent here with us to help speak about all things women's dodgeball and the rest of dodgeball as well. So without further ado, let's just get onto it because we are going to be going through a fair bit. So
Preach.
first up, Women's Super League. Yeah, where do we even start with this? So, I would say the first thing to say is who got relegated and who's been promoted because we didn't do a National League preview. So, I'll do a very quick summary. The 2 teams that were relegated were Stafford Raptors and yes,
Well,
yes,
they technically folded, right?
Yeah, they folded. Yeah.
It was
Rather
Raptors
than-
and Queen Bees that got relegated, and then Stafford Raptors folded, and East Anglia Valkyries folded, which meant that
That's the other one.
Queen Bees stayed up, and then promoted was Wessex Wolves and Leicester White Tigers, the 2 teams that got relegated 2 years ago. So they got demoted, and they have bounced straight back up into Super League. So slightly different Super League to the one they were in last time, with a few new faces and teams in there. But yes, that's the changes. The winner last year was Leamington Spartans. Derby Phantoms, I think, lost 1 match all season and came second. That's the real shame of drawing so many games. I think they drew 5 in the end. I can't remember. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Women's Super League in general is kind of crazy. As you listen to any podcast that covers Women's Super League or National League, you have no idea what results are going to come up, which kind of speaks to this first week. Really, there were quite a few results that were just like, oh my god, did that actually just happen?
Yeah, literally, like um, with Bedford losing to Spartans right at the start, which was insane. Because like obviously, they've got people coming in this season. I mean, they've lost Imi, but they've still got a good talent there, so that was quite surprising. But then Spartans then went and drew to Storm.
Which is
So
fantastic. Yeah.
I didn't even see
yeah,
that.
That was a crazy game to watch because they were running behind all the other courts, so everyone had pretty much crowded that court at that point to see what on earth was going on. And Storm were one set down with one set to go, and I think it was like in the dying seconds, Rachel makes this like jump dodge catch, and like just plucks it out of the air to bring them one player up with like 10 seconds to go
yeah.
or something. It was nuts.
Well, there was a whole
Crazy.
referees thing going on before that point as well, where nobody was sure whether a block had happened, and then they ended up just replaying the time. So that was a whole thing
What?
just at the end as well. Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah,
I can imagine that's gone down really well.
yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the refereeing you can expect for this season. Wow,
What do you
that's
mean?
rough.
It's a very harmonious referees discussion
Oh
group. I
yeah,
don't know what
yeah.
you're talking about.
Definitely so
Everybody's on the same page.
for our international viewers and listeners, British Dodgeball this year decided to completely rewrite the rule book. Like from start to beginning. The rules are essentially the same.
Essentially, yeah.
Like there's very, very few changes, but it's literally been rewritten, which means that some wording and interpretation has changed somewhat according to some referees, because they've tried to be a little bit more literal in some cases and allow for a few changes in others. So, such as the play ball or the anti-stall rule has come in, which they're a bit more. They're trying to stop people calling play ball in the middle of people throwing, whilst at the same time also being realistic about the fact that 5 seconds from the point at which a ball retriever picks off the ball is not long. So they did some research on that, and they've got data to show that it takes about 9 to 10 seconds to play ball from which point the ball retriever's picking up. So they don't want that, and that's not stalling. So they don't. So it's things like that, and like a bit more, being a bit more explicit on what is a invalid and all that kind of thing. So a few niche changes, but it means that the referees have all read it or reread it, and there are varying levels of agreement and disagreement, I'd say, in terms of how the rules are played. I think it kind of went better than expected, the general rule, like refereeing, in terms of how different the rules were written. I was expecting a lot more chaos. It seemed very, very much like it was business as usual. There weren't much changes.
There was a few moments, but nothing that you would nothing that wasn't already happening beforehand, basically.
Yeah. So yeah. But if you want to become a referee, please get in touch with British Dodgeball, because boy do we need some.
I'll also give a wee shout out. Matt Wheel, Matt Does Dodge, has a really good video on a lot of the rule changes and stuff. If anybody has any care in the world about the rule changes in any way, shape, or form, it's actually it's a very, very good video, to be fair to him.
There is one of them is an hour long and the other one was like 10 minutes. They're very good.
Yeah, but we can't say anything.
No. Like, I mean, given he managed to go through a 34-page document and summarize it in an hour is pretty good going.
Oh yeah, you could tell he was actually prepared rather than wolfing his way through it.
Oh yeah, it's not like
some people that do podcasts.
Yeah, or like everyone's meant to join the call at 7:30 and Nick's not ready till 8:10.
Yeah. Just Nick.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Women's Super League. I didn't see that Bedford Eagles Leamington Spartans game, but that I would say that surprises me based off the results from last year. But it kind of also doesn't surprise me.
No, I still think Spartans for me are probably the team to beat.
100%.
And they're looking even more disciplined and smarter decision making than they were last year. The storm results what really shocks me.
Yeah.
Because I watched, or I hadn't watched. I'd spoken to Emily Letty about Storm 2 versus Storm. That was a much tighter game, and then for Storm to come out and then draw with Spartans really shocks me.
And then lose
Like,
quite badly to Beagles after Beagles had lost to Spartans as well.
yeah, it's my mind's
and then,
just
like-
kind of processing this.
And Storm 2 got a better set difference than Storm 1 did against Bedford Mighty Eagles.
I watched that, and I'll tell you what, Bedford looked really shaky at the start of that game against Storm 2. Like, I genuinely at one point was kind of like, I wouldn't be shocked here if Beagles just walk away with a draw or maybe even a loss. The experience
'cause
shone
they
through in
had
the
that-
second half, but
Yeah, I think it's because they had that loss against Spartans first, then Storm 2 was their first game afterwards. They're probably shaken by the loss, and then they've managed to get back into it for that Storm game at the end of the day.
yeah, I'd be shocked if you see another meet like that from Beagles. But yeah, I was. That's probably a day they sort of want to forget, to be honest.
But yeah, so I think Beagles gained Becky Harper from Storm. The Storm?
Yeah, no,
Spartans.
not Spartans.
No, for Spartans. Yeah.
I don't know if Storm gained any players. I don't think so. Lauren. Lauren was playing.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's moved from Spartans 2 over to Storm.
Yeah.
After all the effort of creating that Excel column, I haven't got it open. That's how prepared we are. I did, like, when we were aiming to do a preview episode, I did look at like creating a Excel spreadsheet of like all the moves that we were aware of. And once we wrote it down, there were a ton. Like that. Like I was like, I did not realize we knew that much about how many people are moving around. But hey, gossip travels. So. And Ellie Mans was back for Spartans, I believe, as well. So
Yes.
good to see that she's fit and healthy after her injury that took her out last year. So I think Spartans looking really dangerous. And I think Amy Jones wasn't playing for Spartans either because she was playing for Carmarthen Wizards in the men's that was also at the same time. So a slightly different Spartans team, but I'd say maybe a bit stronger, like a very, very, very strong Spartans team nonetheless. So that Storm game was a bit of a surprise.
Also, Harry Bignell as well. She's
Yeah.
gone now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in Canada now.
Yeah, so it is a fair shake up. Not the biggest one, but it is a fair shake up.
Yeah. In other areas around the league, Derby Phantoms did the business. They've obviously gained Emmy Sharp, who's gone from Bedford Mighty Eagles.
Big draw.
Yeah, gone to university at Nottingham and is playing at Derby, which is yep. But yeah, the one thing that surprises me about their results is the White Tigers scores, because White Tigers did, like, for everyone's sort of predictions of how many players that had gone to White Tigers, that they would be the, sort of the leftover Valkyries plus, Lauren Hems has moved over there as well. They would be a pretty formidable team. They did not look that together. They looked all over the place, I won't lie. So I was kind of surprised when I saw that lineup. I was then not surprised with the results, except for that Derby one, to be within 3 sets against Derby. And part of me thinks that these matches that you saw at the end, where it was like Bedford v Storm, and Sheriffs and Bees and Derby and White Tigers, those results kind of show that the toll it's going to take on people, how long these days are, because Derby only took 8, and I think you definitely need to take 9.
I think the only ones that really are going to get it from the get-go are the international ones that have gone through days like that before. But I think players that haven't got used to having to play 3 matches, especially they're in quick succession as well. Like, even international days, like you're playing throughout the entire day, like 3, maybe 4 games across 10 hours. This is across what, 5, 6? Fitness is going to play a huge part. Squad depth is going to play a huge part, and quality and depth is going to be massive compared to last season. Like last season, you could probably rely on a 6, and a lot of teams would get away with it. But if you're coming up against in the third match against a team of like with 9 players and have been keeping it fresh and rotating quite well, like there could be a few upsets based on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give
Interesting
you
to see how people react to it.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the opportunity, Emily, to talk about your game against Bees if you want to, because I know you had some tough games beforehand, and I just, it's going to be an interesting scrap, I think, for some of these teams in Women's Super League. I think my prediction is you're going to see a top half and a bottom half of the table pretty early. And I think this is one of the really important games that are going to appear in the bottom half. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I mean, we had Derby to start, but it was one of those things that we were like, we just go out against Derby, we see what happens. Like, it is a top of the table game. For again, they will be up there, so we're just like no expectations from that game. So that was pretty fine. I feel that we were disappointed with our Rangers game because we were a lot closer with them last season. But yeah, going into Bees for us, knowing what the bottom of the table was last year, that was a must-win game if we were not going to be right at the bottom. So that was the mentality we went in for. It was like we need this win. And again, yeah, we've got a number of new girls, but it just seemed like after the start of the day we had, everything just clicked into place for that game. So it worked out very well for us. And yeah, I think we were 10-2 up at half-time. And then we pretty much just slowed the pace right down and made every single set last in that second half, which flipped well to our advantage. So
that's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I love that kind of dodge. Will give me that any day. Get a solid lead, slow it down. Singles a meter above someone. Just. But yeah, no, I totally agree. No, sounds good.
It's the way to do it.
I think, as you were saying about Rangers results really surprised me.
Yeah.
I thought they would beat White Tigers when I saw the White Tigers that turned up. I did predict Rangers to win because I was just like, Rangers they looked pretty good at the end of last season. They were pretty solid in the end. But that draw to Wessex out the gate was a bit of a shaky one. But then to fairly comfortably beat White Tigers and fairly comfortably beat you guys in Nottingham Sheriffs, that's a good day for Rangers. That's a very good day for Rangers.
Yeah, big day.
Because they've got Lisa. I was just going to say they've got Lisa's coming this year and Sadie, so they've got 2 additional pretty good players to add into that lineup. So it's only improved from the end of last season.
Yeah. So I think they are going to be the mid-table marker. I think they are not going to be in the relegation fight, but I don't know if they're going to be pushing those top teams. And I think Wessex could be in that group as well with that solid draw there. Comfortably handling Bees. I mean, obviously they took a solid L against Derby, but and then Bees as well. I'm amazed Bees beat White Tigers. Looking at their lineup, I was like, this is a much weaker lineup than last year. So
it's not too far off of it, is it? Only
I think there's quite a
bit.
few.
Cheska's a big loss.
Yeah, Hannah wasn't playing.
Hannah was out. Yeah, just been out so long. I've kind of forgotten, to be honest. Sorry, Hannah, I love you. The Nat coming in, Nat has been very solid coming in. I think now this was always kind of going to be the women's rebuild season, and it's always going to be about finding their feet and really finding that unity as a team on court and learning how to utilize each other's strengths because they've now got quite a varied range of skills. With some good throwers, some good catchers, some good dodgers. They've got a lot better counters now. Nat's especially very good at it. And there's 1 or 2 honeys after we'll talk about their mate later on, but there's 1 or 2 that could easily also slot in and add some other threats as well. There is the ability's there. It's now just about finding out how to best play as a team.
Yeah.
And I've only seen bits and pieces of the White Tigers footage, but you've definitely seen moments of it kind of coming together. But it's quite a young squad, and I think they'll progress as the season goes on. I'm just hoping that they can pick up enough wins here and there to kind of stay out of that relegation battle. The win against White Tigers will be big, for the end of season. And it's about taking that momentum and really moving on from that.
Yeah, because at the moment, we'll move on to the table. That puts them just ahead of Sheriffs on set difference, but they had a very different day in terms of lineups. I will say on British Dodgeball, they have said that Wessex and London Storm are tied fifth. Having read the rules, technically it says at the end of the season, but like going off of what they say, Wessex are ahead just simply because they've won one more set point than London Storm. So Wessex are up at fifth, looking quite nice there as well. So currently, top to bottom for our audio listeners, you got Derby Phantoms at the top, undefeated, with Spartans second and Rangers third, with both of which with a win and a draw. Bedford Mighty Eagles with a win and a loss in fourth. Wessex and London Storm fifth and sixth with one win, one draw, one loss. Manchester Queen Bees and Nottingham Sheriffs 7th, 8th with one win and two losses, and then Leicester White Tigers and London Storm 2s with 3 losses. Just a word on London Storm 2s. They had a horrible day. They played Bedford Mighty Eagles. They played their first team, and I want to say it was like Spartans or Derby. Yeah, Spartans. So realistically, to come away with a set difference of -22 after three matches, pretty good day to be fair. Like it's a rough outing. You know, you won't know much more about Storm 2 until they start playing some of the other teams. So, yeah.
Yeah. Next week will be, well, this weekend will be interesting for them because they've got Derby Phantoms, Queen Bees, and Bedford Rangers.
Queen Bees game will be the big telling one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be massive.
That'll be. I think in terms of how the table looks now, I think other than maybe Storm and Wessex swapping around, you've pretty much got what your top 5 teams will look like and what your bottom 5 teams will look like already. Just obviously, like I think they could swap around in terms of where they fit in those 5, but I think that's pretty much how the league's going to pan out. And you've just got to beat the teams around you. Like that's where your league's going to be decided, especially for the relegation battle. Like Sheriff's beating Queens is huge, is a really huge result. Because you played 2 of the top 5 teams outside of that, right?
Rangers, yes, we played Derby and Rangers.
Derby, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
So like coming away with a good result against Queens as well, like set difference is going to be huge again. I think for like whoever ends up kind of being that bottom 3. Yeah, every set's gonna matter. Like slowing things down the way you did against Queens, like will benefit you in the long run. Like it's experience like that's what's gonna really shine through, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting fight for both top and bottom. To be fair.
Any early predictions for a top 3?
I'm going to wait until the end of this weekend because for Derby they've not played anybody near the top. Like they played us, they played Wessex, they played White Tigers. Like they were bound to win those 3. I'd like to see how they face up at the end of this meet before I'm tempted to make predictions about the top.
Nah, I'm ballsy. Spartans, Derby, then Beagles.
I'm going to say Derby, Spartans, Beagles.
You just want to be different, don't you?
No, because Derby beat Spartans last year, didn't they? Or was it just the other way? It was insanely close.
The Amy Sharp siding makes them very, very interesting this year.
It does.
I will admit.
They definitely look like a solid team, definitely on paper. And My question mark is whether or not they have the number of players and they're going to bring 9 and they're going to be okay with that, or whether they're going to stick with 8 and hope that's enough. Because I reckon there's going to be some league meets, and I haven't checked the schedule, but I reckon there's going to be some league meets where they're playing 3 out of the top 5, and you're going to need every ounce of fitness and every body and ability you can get on that court during that day. So yeah, that'll be my prediction. Let's move on to round 2 fixtures. Our match to catch is London Storm versus Derby. The reason for this, because it seems like, I mean, I'm not going to lie, the public votes on some of these were incredibly one-sided. The reason that I put this in is that London Storm did a really good job against Spartans, and I think if you can do that, any game, I mean, we also know it's Women's Super League, any game, anyone can win. So I think Derby, who are looking strong at the top against probably the biggest bogey team in Women's Super League in terms of you actually don't know what's going to happen when you play them, could be a really interesting game.
Don't worry, Wessex. You're still next favourite team. Like, don't worry about it. You'll make match to catch one day.
They already...
Yeah, I know.
Oh, they haven't yet. No, they haven't yet.
They will. They will. I know they're still your favourite team, no matter what you say.
It's right. If you look ahead, Spartans 2 clearly are my favourite team this year, with the fact that they're 2 match to catches in a row now. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, we're talking about Derby. They've got Storm 1, Storm 2, and Rangers, which is probably, again, another one of their easier days. Which means
the Rangers game could be interesting, though.
Their last 2 games of the first half of the season are Spartans and... No, they've got another 3 games, haven't they? So they've got, what, Spartans, Beagles, and... Someone,
Queens?
yeah. Queens,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
We'll save that for next podcast bit.
No. Let's do three rounds in one go. Let's go.
Chill. The other game I was probably gonna suggest for match to catch would probably be the Queens versus Storm 2, because if Storm 2 played as well as they did, especially early doors against Beagles, like they could definitely ruffle a few feathers in the Queens, and that's a big relegation match overall, for sure.
I think Sheriff's Wessex will also be big.
Yep.
Listen, there's a lot of fixtures. I'm making my way through, okay? The fixture screen is sensory overload these days, okay?
Oh, I know. It's like, honestly, like when I was like looking at the fixture list on the Google spreadsheet, and I was like, how the hell am I going to fix this on like one page? It's a miracle we're here, guys. Like, I appreciate what we've got. But yeah, no, definitely that Wessex Sheriffs game will be a big one as well. I think that one, like, I think it's not just a case of who wins, but also how much buy will be really, really important, and probably say a lot about what's going down in Women's Super League. I don't know if there's any other fixtures that speak volumes at the moment. Looking at them. Yeah,
Rangers, Beagles.
Yeah, maybe
Could be a good
Battle for Bedford.
I think after this meet, you'll know what Rangers are going to be like for the overall for the season.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
If they're still
after
within
like
that top 5, then they'll be doing very well for themselves.
it's going to be absolutely crazy that after a week we have played a third of the season.
Yeah, no, I missed 2 weeks and I've missed a third of the season out of an injury. Yeah, great. Thanks, BD. Feel great.
So crazy. Oh, just wait till you have to play on Easter weekend, right?
Yeah.
Poke the bear. Poke the. Anyway,
I wasn't sick.
Yeah, so I think I don't really have much else to say on this one. It's just a case of some of these games are going to be really big in terms of seeing what the results are afterwards, because we're going to be a third of the way through the season, and yeah, if there's any way you're at St George's Park, the best place to plonk yourself is at 1:15. Put yourself somewhere behind the stream camera, because then you can watch two courts, and those two courts are going to be the most interesting, potentially. On to our predictions for Match to Catch. So London Storm v Derby. Or shall I go first? Shall I?
Go on, then.
Go on. Who am I thinking?
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Derby. I feel like it's not a given, but like
You pick this. I just want to point this out, by the way.
I did, yeah, but I asked for everyone's help. What did I get? Fucking zip.
Yeah, I'll hold my hands up. I
Yeah.
was busy whenever you asked. Like, but I'm also going to say that this was a very brave match to catch to pick.
This is a short turnaround week for those who didn't know.
Yeah.
Thank you,
yeah.
BD.
Crazy. Anyway, go on, Emily or Colm. Who are you going to pick?
Ladies
Shall I go
first.
first?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's going to be tight, and it's really going to depend, because both teams can be so changeable. We saw that last season. It really depends who comes out. But I think I'm going to have to agree with Nick at this point and go with Derby.
What a safe bet. Not pushing the boat out today. It starts off nice and chill for the first Match to Catch prediction from Emily there.
I'll be honest, I was really hoping I was beating Nick in the pick and Storm just for the sake of my results, but it did not work. I think Derby will win it, especially with it being an early game. I don't think the smaller squad size will have an impact on it that much. It'll be the later matches that it could potentially impact it. But as you said, it's kind of down to what squads turn up. It should be a good game, but I do think Derby will take it.
Yeah, and the public vote was also for Derby. It wasn't the most one-sided vote we had. We'll get onto that later.
I have a feeling I know which one that's going to be.
It was 70-30 to Derby, 70%, 30%, so 90 votes going to Derby, 38 going to Storm. Look, I know we've all predicted Derby, but I think it could be a very good game to watch. It could be a very, very interesting result.
There's definitely games in the Meet 1 that we wouldn't have called Match to Catch that were close and surprising. Like, it's a league that has a lot of surprising results in it. Like, we've seen it year in, year out.
Yeah.
So, like, as much as we're kind of saying that Derby are gonna, we're not even saying they're gonna walk it. We just think that they're going to edge out Storm, because Storm are a difficult team to beat. Like, there's no doubt about it. But I just think signings like Emmy and the way they're playing, like that, they're probably one of the smartest teams in the league in terms of decision making, and I think that just grinds out a lot of results. I think if there's a team that kind of works against, it's Storm.
Yeah, I mean, Storm, both in their women's and their men's, are like two teams that have a lot of, I'd say, names on their teams, and just always never play up to the sum of their parts. Like, I feel like they always underperform for the ability that they've got.
Yeah, we'll get to the men.
But it's fun watching them, to be fair, because they make it so interesting.
They do. They're always fun teams to watch. Like there's always good dodgeball to watch there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Women's League One. Yeah, so for those that didn't know, new season, new league, kind of, almost entirely. It's only a 6-team league this year. So after this league meet, some teams have played 3 matches, some teams have played 2. So some have played over half the competition, others haven't. But they are currently sharing the slot, the afternoon or the morning slot, with Women's League 2 and splitting fixtures that way. So kind of a shorter day for them, but they will be playing each team 3 times, not twice, and still end up with only 15 fixtures, so they will have less matches than they would the year before. But it does mean now we have a Women's League 2, which is quite exciting. So I'm not complaining at that. So the teams that are in it, pretty much all the ones that were in it last year, the ones that got promoted are no longer in it, and only Honeybees got demoted. So we have Leeds, Hartlepool, Spartans 2, Sheriffs 2, Derby 2, and Norwich Nighthawks are your 6 teams. I hope I said 6 teams. That'd be really awkward if I didn't.
Yeah, I was definitely paying attention.
Yeah. Some kind of, I'm going to say, kind of wild results here. Last year, so for those that didn't see the absolute mess that was Women's League 1 last year, where you had 3 teams battling out for promotion, the 2 teams that got promoted managed to lose to teams below them or outside the relegation battle. Apart from Leeds, who only lost to the 2 that got promoted, amazingly. And then everyone else was kind of in like some sort of like beating each other triangle, with Hartlepool Mavericks coming on top with the worst set difference. It's just absolutely amazing. I don't know how you can end up with like, I think they had like 10 wins and 8 losses and ended up with a set difference of -10 or something like that, which is just ridiculous. But really impressive that they finished 4th with that. So it'd be interesting to see what happens this year. I mean, I'll speak from a Leeds perspective. We've had quite a lot of changes in the team. A lot of people leaving the club or retiring. So we've had a lot of new players come in from universities and things like that. So quite a different team. But actually, we drew to Hartlepool and drew to Spartans 2. Unfortunately, lost to Phantoms 2. So all in all, like pretty good day. Had no idea what to expect going into the season, so actually quite positive signs, to be perfectly honest, from that. Phantoms 2 coming away with 3 wins was big for them.
Only team to be undefeated after only 1 meet.
Yeah. Every team came away with a point. Fun fact.
Oh, yeah.
So, because Hartlepool drawing to Leeds. That's kind of how crazy this league is going to be. And like, having read the British Dodgeball regulations and what's happening this season, 2 are getting promoted and 2 are getting relegated. So only 2 teams will be left in this league. Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
I'm sure
playoffs of some sort.
I am sure that is subject to more teams joining, because if you do get more teams joining and you have more than 6 teams per league, then they're not going to make League 2 a 10-team league and League 1 a 6-team league. I'm sure they will just auto-promote the teams.
It'll balance out.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens in the applications for the new season next year. And Sheriffs 2 are looking good.
Yeah. I mean, so there's only one person that's played last season for the 2s that was here this season at the first league, and they had a really rough start against Spartans, just trying to figure things out, play together, stuff like that. And then they just got the tactics against Hartlepool, and they just kept going with it the whole game, and Hartlepool had no answer for what they were bringing out, which was a lot of running counters, but worked very well. So that was really good for them to come back from that loss to get that win in the second game.
That's definitely not how we drew to them either. I feel like when the Sheriffs 2 and Leagues play each other next league meet, that's going to be a very running countering game. It's going to be fun to watch to see who wins that battle. But that Spartans 2 Nighthawks game was also fantastic to watch. That was a really close game and very nervy, which kind of surprised me. But then last year those games were very nervy as well. So I think Nighthawks are I mean, if you're okay with that, I'm going to go straight onto the table, because it kind of explains how kind of weird this league is. So Derby Phantoms 2 at the top, undefeated. Spartans 2 with in second with 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. Nighthawks with 1 win and 1 loss. They've only played 2. Leeds in fourth with 2 draws and a loss. Sheriffs 2 with 1 win and 1 loss, also only playing 2. And Hartlepool with a draw and a loss, 2 losses. So 2 teams that haven't
Yeah.
played 3 matches. Sorry.
Gotta feel bad for Hartlepool. Like they're literally 2 sets off being undefeated in their first meet.
Yeah.
And they're somehow bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's sad. I actually feel really bad for them.
And
Like
like
what
what?
was it? A draw, then two losses by 1 set. Like that's rough going. But
Yep.
it's also a positive, like in terms of the overall season. Like if you've got another, what you said, 12 matches left,
Yeah.
like turn you can easily turn those into wins.
And they've got to play those
very
2 teams. They've got to play those
Twice.
3 teams twice, 2 more times. So there's
Yeah,
plenty of changes that could happen.
definitely.
But yeah, like Nighthawks in third, like, you know, they're on the same set difference as Hartlepool with a win and a loss. Yes, they've played the 2 teams above them. So they played Derby Phantoms and Spartans 2. So they've got Leeds, Sheriffs, and Nighthawks, Hartlepool next league meet. So definitely potential for them to kick on, but we'll have to see what happens because I think this is going to be a very hotly contested league, and it's going to be so painful that 2 get promoted, 2 get relegated. That's really horrible.
Yeah, it's gonna be really harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be nobody safe. I don't feel like on that last league day for them.
No.
Oh no, not with
well,
3
absolutely
matches, like 3 or 2 or
Yeah.
3
not.
matches.
Could you imagine you have a repeat of like you remember the Women's Super League season where there was 5 teams that could have won it at the end? You have that,
Yeah.
but like just 6 teams could like either finish top of the table or bottom of the table.
It's very feasible. It's not out of the question
Yeah.
that like 5th could end up coming 2nd and 2nd come 5th in like the last league meet. That could very easily happen in this league, and that would be heartbreaking for whoever that happens to, if it means that they get relegated. But yeah, could be a very interesting league. Definitely watch this space for chaotic league. And if you're one for storylines and wanting to know, oh my god, that's heartbreaking, this is the result that means this. This is very much the league meet to do that, or the league to watch for that. The fixtures for next league.
Woo!
So, round 2. So most teams will only have 2 league meets, but with Nighthawks and Sheriffs 2 having 3 matches. Which, Sheriffs, you've got a tough day out. I say that everything's gonna be tough in League One. Like
You're playing like 40 or like 60% of the league every meet. You've got 3 matches, like so.
Yeah.
Like you can't avoid anybody. Like it's always going to be tough. It's just
I mean, those bad days are going to be real bad, but those good days, oh my god, the highs will be so good.
Oh, it is actually crazy.
We've just beaten over half the league. Amazing.
Yeah, that's really true though, isn't it? Like
that must be like what Derby
Phantoms
Phantoms 2 must be
yeah, it's
feeling
huge.
right now.
Coming away with 3 wins is huge, like that early on. Like
Yeah.
if they keep that momentum going, if you can come out of meet 2 with 5 wins, like literally beating everybody off the bat, like the momentum you get off of that is massive.
I think they've got a few more players to return, right, from injury as well in their seconds, so they could be even stronger, which is, boy, is that scary.
Yep.
But having said that, I think, it's going to be a very topsy-turvy league, and I think trying to find some form is going to be really important and really difficult. I'm personally really excited for that Leeds Nighthawks game, and also the Leeds Sheriffs 2 game. I think both those games are going to be good fun. I'm also kind of excited for the Hartlepool Norwich game. I'm not gonna lie, that one is
just say you're excited for every game, mate.
God damn it! Women's League One is the best league again. I'm sold. I will stand on my soapbox and scream to the heavens. Women's League One is the best league. Yeah, fight me
Some
now.
things will never change.
It's just it's gonna be a crazy one. But anyway, our match to catch is the Spartans 2s versus Phantoms 2s, just because that's first and second. It's going to be crazy because, Spartans 2 coming away with a win, loss and a draw is ever so tough. Especially as they lost to Nighthawks, but Nighthawks lost to Phantoms too. So you got a nice little triangle going on there.
Yeah.
As such, let's go on to our match to catch predictions for Women's League One, which is Spartans 2 versus Phantoms 2. Colm, we're gonna start with you. What's your prediction?
Ooh,
Because you know so much about this league.
Yeah, just they don't stream it, so how the hell am I meant to watch it? No, I kind of have to back Derby Phantoms 2 here. Haven't seen some of the footage that they posted up. They look very strong. They play in the classic Derby way, which I think whenever it's executed well is very, very tough to beat, and usually takes some good experienced squads to take it on. And they seemed to execute it very well, and the results kind of showed that. So I think they'll walk away with the win here.
Yeah, they also have a sideline which bursts your eardrums every time they hit someone. It's painful, guys. It's painful.
From the sidelines.
I mean, you know me too well because I'm definitely going the other way. I'm going Spartans. They're just a good team. Like, there's not much else I can say about it. They're a solid team. Like, you know, I think Phantoms 2 look very good, but boy, did we have a bad match when we played them. We played really badly, but we played much better in our other games. So I think our scoreline really flattered Phantoms, and yeah, with how close the Nighthawks game against them was, I won't be surprised if Spartans 2 can do a bit better. That's my thoughts anyway.
No, you're not allowed to have thoughts, Nick. God damn it.
And what are your thoughts, Emily?
Well, I'm going for Derby Phantoms because they beat Nighthawks and they also beat Leeds, and whereas Spartans 2 drew to Leeds and lost to Nighthawks. So, you know, at the moment they're looking, Derby 2 is just looking like that better team. But it's obviously whether Spartans 2s have any particular tactics that will work well against Derby 2s. We'll see. But at the moment, judging from the results from week 1, Derby 2s seem like the stronger team.
Fair enough. The public seem to fully disagree with both of you. They decided to go in a 60% to 40% fashion for Spartans 2, so 73.
I'm surprised it was as close as that.
What, as close as that for Spartans 2?
Yeah, I would have. You said it was 60-40, right?
Yeah, 60-40, yeah. You thought there'd be more Spartans 2 fans?
Yeah. Have you seen the Spartans whenever they turn out for these kind of votes? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. I'm not
it's
going to out
bad to
any...
the one later on that I'm going to out.
Yeah. It's not so bad that I'm going to like out anyone that was in the comments that's from Spartans that voted for Derby. There may have been a few.
Let you work that out for yourselves.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be as close as that Nighthawks game.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. Definitely wouldn't shock me. Like there's definitely quality in that Spartans, and I think they're slowly edging more towards that like typical Spartan style of play in their second women's team that they've got across the board in the rest of their teams. Like they're getting more comfortable with being aggressive on court, which is, when done correctly, is the best way to counter that Derby style of play. So it could be a very, very interesting game, especially with the fact that they have to play each other 3 times. This will be a matchup that'll be like worthwhile watching for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting trying to do match to catch and not repeating the same fixtures multiple times.
Like you pretty much have the same fixture coming up every bloody meet.
Yep. I mean, talk about a league we got the match to catch completely wrong. Uh, to be fair, I watched MK.
We had no idea what to expect.
No, we had no idea. MK were a very different team coming out, but they only played with 5, which when you had 3 matches in a day is rough as hell. They had some good players and they play pretty well. Like I have hope for them. Definitely going forward. I just think in this league, starting with 5 is not the one.
Ideally not.
No. We do know in this league that teams like Coventry Silverbacks have had some major talent go to them from the Super League, aka the rest of Stafford Raptors. Went over to Coventry Silverbacks. So Alex Lancaster and Manon Dixon went over to Silverbacks. They looked really good. They looked solid. I think David Bateman's over there as well. They're going to be horrible to play against and just probably comfortably walk the league. I'm not going to lie. But the rest of the league, very interesting. Literally every team surprised me in a good and a bad way. I was surprised that Saints didn't do as well as I expected them to do. After such a good result against Silverbacks, boy, did they fold against White Tigers too. And White Tigers too look pretty damn good, to be fair. They're half of the White Tigers that they were last year, considering the amount of White Tigers that joined, or the new White Tigers that have joined the first team. So it's going to be a solid team, but they really surprised me for a seconds team. There's some, I think about 2 or 3 very young players playing for them as well. So good to see new blood coming through. But yeah, and bees, there you go, Colm. Your wonderful honeybees.
Finally get the wins they deserve.
The absolute excitement from this man.
I'm buzzing. Considering they had some games last season where they played really well and they come away with, I think it was 1 draw and then a couple of losses by 1 set. And it was difficult to watch because you could see that there was a lot of potential there. So I think they really needed two wins, 2 emphatic wins, where there's still a lot of things that they need to tighten up. But the countering was quality. The covering was a lot better. They're making hits off the single ball attacks, stuff that they were doing inconsistently last season. They were being more consistent with this year. It'll be nice to see them kind of grow. There will be tougher matchups coming up in the league. I'm not gonna beat around the bush there, but that was the pick me up and morale booster that they needed, and hopefully they keep pushing on from there.
Yeah,
Buzzing.
definitely.
Pardon the pun.
You fucking bees.
I use that word well before I joined bees. Just happened to coincide.
Oh my god, it's so cringy. Someone say
coming from you.
Unbelievable.
Cringiest man I know. I'm not having this.
Stop flirting. It's fine.
No, I'll never stop flirting with you. Stop it.
I'll stop. Anyway, before we make Emily really uncomfortable. But yeah, White Tigers too also look pretty solid in their turnout and also their. So I think it's that in a way this is going to be in an even harder league to get promoted out of than League One, because League One at least you can kind of rely on other people to beat each other. I think in this league it's going to be maybe a 3-team chase for the top, but it depends how Honeybees do, and it depends how White Tigers do. I think that's going to be the big game going forward, is White Tigers 2 versus Honeybees.
Very much agree with that.
But yeah, after one meet, this puts Coventry Steelbacks at the top undefeated, with Honeybees in second also undefeated, and White Tigers 2 also undefeated, with Silverbacks 2 with 1 win and 2 losses, Saints with 2 losses, and London Saints, that is, and MK Cyclones in third. I just want to say, word on MK Cyclones, great rebranding. Not going to lie, love their kit. Very good kit.
I wasn't expecting that.
Just a complete aside. I'm not like their logo is boring as hell. Someone please point out the cyclone I'm missing. But great kit.
To be fair, I still think it's an improvement of the old one because the old one just looked a bit.
It did. It looked clip arty.
Yeah, that's a really good comparison. So I do think this is an upgrade. It does look like generic football crest kind of thing.
Yeah, it's if
like,
Dodgeball
like,
did
you know,
like what is it, MSL or whatever it is.
like Pez, where it's just like like Manchester Blues kind of thing.
Yeah. What's the American Football League called? It is MSL, right? Or is it NSL?
MLS.
MLS, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. Like if MLS did Dodgeball logos, that you get the MK Cyclones logo.
Yeah. I know exactly where you're coming from. Just random generic stuff.
Just generic, like flat 2D art.
How to avoid copyright.
Yeah. We'll stop dissing. We'll stop dissing them for now, and we'll go on to. No, that's the wrong league. As usual, Nick is on it.
It's all right.
There you go. Oh,
It
this
was
is
doing
another
well at this
thing.
point.
Absolutely, like another just like real gripe. Another kit that is tended towards black. White tigers.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear? Would you like to hear? Apparently, Lauren Hems didn't like the white bit. They specifically requested this new kit.
Wow.
You're kidding.
That is from Stephen Hems himself.
Wow. Wow.
That's. I thought I heard it all before, but that's a good one. That's new.
I mean, it looks fine. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it looks like a decent kit, but when you turn up to League and everyone's wearing black, you're like, God, we are so generic.
Well, we do. Most of us do buy generic kits, though. To be fair.
Yeah. Yep. Bees. Massive shout out for Sheriffs for having a real cool kit. You know.
And it's
least we're not
improved
lazy.
every time.
At least we don't have owl poop on our shoulder.
Hey, ours may be garish, but you know what you're looking at when you see it.
You've literally heard from the designer herself that there's owl poop on your shoulder. It was done as a joke, and you went, "That's a great idea."
I'll have you know that is our
Your
10-year
choice.
anniversary kit. So you watch your tongue, sir.
I'm still right.
Anyway, some good games that would be interesting to watch is MK v Saints. I think that'll be a big one to see if MK turn up with more than 5 players. I know Caitlin Barber is now playing for MK as well, which is a big change because she was at Leicester White Tigers before. Saints actually look like a really solid squad. They just needed to refine a few things. That second match as well, I don't know what happened to them. Maybe they were really tired. Maybe they just got a little caught out with some tactics or whatever. But like ability wise, I think they'll do fine. Same with MK. I think they've got some decent talent on that squad. It just depends on how it all comes together and if they can build the tactics for them. Also, I know MK. I don't know about their twos, but I know the men's ones were absolutely decimated by illness and holiday and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if the women's were also suffering a bit from the old Rona.
God, imagine getting ill after Christmas. Couldn't be me.
Imagine getting ill before Christmas. Couldn't be me. Anyway, but yeah, other than that, our match to catch is Honeybees versus White Tigers 2. As we were saying, that could be the decider to see who is in that running for the top 2 promotion spots. Honeybees also play Silverbacks, which could be interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say Honeybees
Yeah,
are going to have an
definitely.
interesting meet because it'll be the first time they've played 3 matches in one meet. It'll be very interesting to see how they handle that, because like we discussed earlier on, unless you've done it before, it takes a bigger toll on you than you imagine, especially if you're having to do ball retrieving as well, and stuff like that. Like everything just chips away at you, and playing like that late into the evening, your third match, like the mental toll on you is massive. So that Saints game is also going to be a big one for them, I reckon.
Could be, yeah. I mean, riddle me this: like, why on earth, when they're into like they're swapping every match between Women's League One and Women's League Two, is Women's League One reffing Women's League Two and Women's League Two reffing Women's League One? Why not just give everyone that one match off? Why are you making people play and then ref?
Oh, I have this complaint massively, like especially like I know workers for the next meet. We turn up, ref, and then go straight into play, and it's just like I personally think it's quite dangerous doing stuff like that, not allowing teams to have a proper warm up before the first match and things like that. Like, I
You got
personally
5
think there
minutes
should
to
be
warm up.
Yeah, because that's bloody. That's good enough, isn't it?
I mean, good luck finding any other space to warm up in St George's Park if you're in the afternoon slot.
It's an absolute joke, in my opinion. Like it needs to be thought through better. Even if you have like some teams just reffing throughout the morning and then they just play throughout the afternoon and stuff like that. I know it'll be a pain for those that have to ref in the afternoon and things like that, but if you have a better chance to warm up and cool down and reduce the chances of injury, I'm sure a lot of teams would agree to it, but that's an issue for another day.
By the by. Yep. Anyway, let's go on to our match to catch predictions for Women's League 2. I'm missing the graphic. Fantastic.
You haven't done that in so long.
Oh, I know why that is. I'm not missing the graphic. I clicked the wrong button. There you go.
Hey!
Nice.
Imagine trying to change a video file and looking for a picture file.
Nice.
That is what I did. Oh, this is a really tough one to call. Emily, go first.
Cool. So I'm going for bees, and it literally just comes down to the difference between bees and white tigers on their game against silverbacks too, which is the only comparison that we have so far, with bees winning their game a lot more convincingly than white tigers did. That's what I'm going for. What's making my decision there?
I'm
Fair
scared.
enough.
Emily's losing logic for everything.
I mean, some of us just use gut feels, like, you know. Go with
Just
the
Yeah,
vibes.
come up with it in the moment. Like Emily has reason.
Go on then, Colin.
This is new.
Use your irrational
yeah, show
brain.
your working.
God, this is a really tough one. I really don't know who I'm going to choose. Bees.
I had no idea who that was going to be. Wow, what a surprise.
I'm a bee.
Has it got anything to do with the fact that that's your club or anything, or do you actually have reason to believe that Honeybees can actually win this game?
I'll be honest, I haven't seen White Tigers play. I've seen Honeybees play. I think the squad looks good. They look, as was said earlier on, I thought they played quite strong as a unit. They've got some things to iron out. Hard to iron things out within a week, but
Don't know what we're talking
I
about.
expect them to have a good. I think they had a good showing, and I think this will be a very tight game from looking at the results, but I back them. I back my girls.
So I'm going with bees. I think they've definitely got the talent and ability to do it. They've also got quite a bit of experience on that team. So I definitely think they can do it. Depends if someone decides to swap around a bunch of players or not. I don't know if you're keeping the same team as for Queens and Honeys for Meet 2 as you did for Meet 1, but if you do mix people around, maybe that would change the chemistry. I don't know, but I'll definitely back honeybees for now. The public say otherwise. Very, very narrowly is 53-47 prediction for White Tigers, with 63 votes for White Tigers and 55 for honeybees.
Oof.
That's close. That's,
Yeah.
I think, what happens when you get people just guessing. When they're voting. But we'll see how this goes on. And see if more people predict better for other games, for the leagues and rounds. I'll get my words out eventually.
It's all right. You're just giving yourself time to.
Fine, this
consider
isn't
that
a
soon.
word-based media.
No, this is not.
That's cool.
Right, so that summarises our predictions for Women's League and our first view at Women's League. We didn't actually do any predictions for who we thought we were going to win Women's League 1 or Women's League 2. But hey, we'll go with it. If you enjoyed watching / listening, please like, subscribe, give us a rating on wherever you listen to your podcast. We finally hit 200 subscribers, which is a big milestone for us. So thank you everyone for subscribing. And if you're still not subscribed, which I know a lot of you aren't, it's about 50% of us, 50% of you. Go on, just give it a subscribe, please. Don't make me beg. Yeah, you, because Colm's muted himself and he's telling you to subscribe.
I'm done. This is.
But yes, and everyone enjoy your trips to St George's Park for another weekend. And I hope you see us in the next episode.